Hello and welcome back to Cowboys Insiders, the home of the Dallas Cowboy fans all around the world. If you are passionate about the American teams, you are absolutely on the right place because today we have got the latest breaking news, roster update, trade rumors, NFL analysis, and everything happening inside the star. From a Dak Prescott reading the offense to the Micah Parsons dominating on defense to all the latest moves from the Jerry Jones and the front office. We cover it all right here on the Cowboys Insiders. So before we jump into today's huge Cowboys update, make sure that you hit on subscribe button and turn on notification and become the part of the fastest growing Cowboys community on this platform. And we truly appreciate every single member of the Cowboys Nation supporting the Cowboys Insiders. As in the 2026 NFL season is getting closer, training camp storylines are heating up and the pressure is rising in the Dallas as the Cowboys continue their push towards another Super Bowl run. So the question that every Dallas Cowboy fans can ask himself or herself is that the first one is, can Dak Prescott and his explosive offense finally take the next step? The second is, will the Micah Parsons leads one of the NFL most dangerous defenses? And also, another question which every Cowboys fans is asking themselves is that can the Cowboys finally bring another Lombardi trophy back to Dallas? So stay locked in because today's episode is packed with major headlines, insiders reports, player updates, and everything you need to know about the Dallas Cowboy. So this is the Cowboys Insiders. The biggest storyline surrounding the Dallas Cowboys right now is the growing excitement around the team's revamped offense heading into 2026 NFL season. Across a major report outlet, analysts continue discussing how a quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver George Pickens could become one of the most dangerous quarterback receiver duo in the entire of the NFL. So according to the reports from the NFL.com and the Cowboys official team website, Pickens officially signed his franchise tag deal, which worth around 27 millions for 2026 season. Ending week of the speculations about the whether Dallas could trade him or negotiate a long-term extension. The Cowboys owner Jerry Jones recently made the headlines after publicly saying that the organization wants Pickens to answer all these questions about this season before discussing another massive long-term contract. So the Jerry Jones essentially hinted that Dallas want to see another elite season from George Pickens before committing over 30 millions annually to a star receiver. So that statement immediately sparked a major debate throughout NFL media because many insiders believe Pickens already proved himself last season after posting a monster production with 1,429 receiving yards and also 9 touchdowns. Analysts from A Sport Illustrated, Yahoo Sport, and Ashland Sport are now questioning whether the Cowboys are risking another contract drama similar to what happened previous with a several star player. Meanwhile, a Dak Prescott continues trying to keep the locker room focused strictly on football. So during a recent off-season activities, a Dak Prescott publicly packed Pickens and revealed the two have already spent significant time working together privately to build a chemistry before training camp officially begins in the Dallas Cowboys. So the Prescott told reporters he feels comfortable with where the Pickens currently stand mentally and physically. A multiple reporter covering Cowboys also noted that a Prescott appears for health again after previous injury concerns, and also coaches reportedly limited some contract situation, but observers said that looked sharp, throwing a deep passes and moving comfortably inside the pocket during the practice session. And also another major talking point around the Dallas is the Dallas Cowboy defenses. The Cowboys spend much of the offseason trying to strengthen their defensive depth, and the Dak Prescott himself praised the front office for aggressively upgrading that side of the ball. And Ashlon Sport reported that a Dak sent a strong message about believing a Dallas can once again become one of the NFL most complete teams if the defense perform at a championship level. On the defensive side, superstar pass rusher Micah Parsons remain a hot subject of discussions. Reports from other practices indicate Parsons have been in and out of voluntary workout while still staying involved around the team facility. Some insiders believe this could be an unofficial hold-in situation as the contact conversation continue behind the scene. So the Cowboys coaches, however, do not appear overly concerned, but new head coach Brian Scott Heimer has repeatedly praised the team atmosphere and energy during a practices. So Scott Heimer especially complimented George Pickens for showing maturity, professionalism, and strong focus inside the team meetings. According to the coach Scott Heimer, Pickens has been drilled in the through thought of season program, and there is also growing optimism surrounding the Cowboys' offensive line and young talent development. So from the report from the author highlighted offensive tackler Tyler Guyton as the one of the biggest of season standout. So far, coaches believe the young lineman could take a major leaps this season after working extensively with a new offensive staff. At running back, the Dallas continues evaluating several new options after reshaping a backfield during the offseason, and NFL analysts believe the Cowboys are trying to create more explosive and balanced offensive scheme around a Dak Prescott, a CD Lamb, and a George Pickens. Some many fans and analysts now describe a Dallas as a team built to attack vertically, again with aggressive downfield passing concepts. Away from the field, a Dak Prescott also made headlines today after reports surfaced about him reuniting with a former fiancé Sarah Jane Long during their daughter birthday celebration in the Dallas. So according to New York, the two are currently focused on co-parenting despite previous report about their relationship ending earlier in this year. So looking ahead for a Dak Prescott, many NFL insiders believe the Cowboys are entering one of the most important seasons of a Dak Prescott era. So the combination of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens and Micah Parsons gives a Dallas a narrative star power on both sides of the football. But the question in the Dallas Cowboys still remain about the playoff coaching adjustment, and whether the roster can finally deliver another deep postseason run. Around the NFL, there is already serious conversation about the Cowboys' potential competing for the NFC East crown again if the roster stays as they navigate the most crucial moments in the modern era. And everything about their approach to NFL draft, it reflects a franchise that is no longer satisfied with simply being competitive. This is a team driven by urgency, shaped by a past disappointment, and fueled by a deep desire to return to the top of National Football League. For years, the Cowboys have carried the weight of expectations only because of their history, but because of the immense spotlight that follows them everywhere. So now more than ever, that spotlight is focused on how they build their roster through a draft and how those decisions will define their immediate future. At the center of this entire operation stands Jerry Jones, a figure whose influence on a franchise cannot be overstated. Jerry Jones has built his reputation on bold move, aggressive decisions, and the unwavering belief that the Cowboys should always be contenders. Unlike many organizations that embrace a long-term rebuild, Dallas operates with a win-now mentality, and that philosophy is clearly reflected in how they approach the draft. Every pick is not just about potential, it is about an immediate impact. It is about finding the players who can step into a high-pressure environment and delivers results from a moment they arrive. The foundations of the current Cowboys roster is strong, and it begins with a quarterback, Dak Prescott, where a Dak Prescott has been the leader of the team for years, and while his performances have often been impressive and the narrative surrounding him to become increasingly tied to postseason success. The rectangular season consistency is no longer enough. The expectations now is clear. Take the team deeper into a playoff and compete for a championship. Supporting Prescott is one of the league's most dynamic wide receivers in a CeeDee Lamb, whose ability to create separations, make explosive plays, and dominate a defense has made him a cornerstone of the offense. Together, they form a partnership that has the potential to be one of the most dangerous in the NFL. But even that is not sufficient, but the right supporting cost. On the defensive side of the ball, Micah Parsons has emerged as a generational talent. And Micah Parsons is not just a linebacker, he is a complete defensive weapon capable of flashing the passer, dropping into the coverage and disrupting a plays in ways that few players in the league can replicate. His presence alone changes how opposing offenses prepare for the Cowboys. However, the team has recognized that relying too heavily on one player, no matter how talented, is not sustainable strategy. The draft therefore becomes an opportunity to build a defensive unit that complements a person's. One of the most pressing concerns for the Dallas heading into this draft is the offensive line. Once considered the gold standard of the NFL, the Cowboys' offensive line has experienced a gradual decline due to the injuries, aging players, and a lost turnover. Protecting a Dak Prescott has become an absolute priority, not just to maintain offensive efficiency but to ensure the long-term health and effectiveness of the quarterback position. The front office is acutely aware that without the strong and reliable offensive line, even the most talented offense can struggle. As a result, the Cowboys are expected to invest heavily in a lineman who combine a physical strength, technical skills, and the mental awareness needed to adapt a speed of professional game. Beyond the trenches, the Cowboys are also focused on adding a depth and versatility to the defensive unity. The modern NFL demands defenses that can adapt to a wide range of offensive schemes, from a high-powered passing attacks to a balanced run-heavy system. So a Dallas is targeting a player who brings a speed, flexibility, and intelligence to the field, defenders who can cover in multiple positions, react quickly to the changing situations, and contribute in various roles. This approach reflects a broader shift in the team philosophy, one that emphasizes adaptability and strategic depth over a rigid position load. Offensively, the need for additional weapons is another key focus. While CeeDee Lamb has established himself as a true member one receiver, the Cowboys understand that elite offenses require a multiple threat. Defenses have become increasingly sophisticated and relying on a single dominant receiver who can make an offense predictable. By adding another wide receiver with a speed, a tight end who can both block and crush the running back who excel in at passing game, Dallas can create a more dynamic and unpredictable attack. This not only helps Prescott but also forces opposing defenses to spread their attention, opening up opportunities across the field. And what makes this year's draft particularly interesting is the way of the Cowboys are blending traditional scouting with a modern analytics. The organization has embraced a data-driven decisions making, analyzing players' performance metrics, injury histories, and scheme fit in a greater detail than ever before. This evolution demonstrates willingness to adapt to the changing landscape of the National Football League, where a success often depends on finding the right balance between intuition and information. It is a sign that the Cowboys are not just relying on their legacy but are actively working to stay ahead of the curve. The pressure surrounding the franchise cannot be ignored. The Cowboys are one of the most recognizable teams in a sport, and with that recognition comes constantly scrutiny. Every decision is analyzed, every game is dissected, and every failure is magnified. For Jerry Jones, the pursuit of another championship is deeply personal. For a Dak Prescott, and the stakes are equally highly, as his legacy as a quarterback will ultimately be defined by a postseason success. For the coaching staff, the expectations is simple but demanding. deliver result. In this context, the NFL draft become more than just a process of selecting a player. It became a defining moment, a chance to reshape the roster and address a critical weaknesses and build a team capable of competing at the highest level. The Cowboys are not looking for developmental prospects who may take years to reach their potential. They are just looking for a players who can contribute immediately, who can handle the intensity of the NFL, and who can help the team win now. As the draft unfolds, each selection carries a significant weight. A successful pick can strengthen a key area of the roster, while missed opportunities can leave gaps that opponents will exploit. The margin for error is small, and the importance of each decision is magnified by the team's current position as contender. The Cowboys are close and closer enough to believe that the right addition could make all the difference. Ultimately, the story of the Dallas Cowboys at this moment is one of determination and transformation. They are a team with a proud history, talented roster, and clear objective. The challenge lies on turning a potential into performance, in translating a draft day decisions into on-the-field success, and in providing that they can rise above the expectations that have defined them for so long time. So if those NFL draft in the Dallas Cowboys succeed, this draft could be remembered as the moment when everything came together, the moment when the Cowboys finally bridged the gaps between promise and achievement. Missing any quarterback can set franchise back for years, while drafting the right can completely transform the future of organization. At the same time, defensive talent has become equally valuable. Pass rushers are now considered premium assets because of how explosive modern offenses have become. A team know that if they cannot pressure an elite quarterbacks, they simply they simply cannot survive a deep into the playoff. And edge rushers with a speed, power, and athleticism are being viewed as franchise changing, a player capable of anchoring defenses for the next 10 years. Across the league, franchises are also prioritizing offensive line protection more than ever before. The physical demands of the NFL continue to increase, and protecting a young quarterback has become one of the highest priorities in the football. So the organizations are investing are investing first round picks into offensive tacklers who can dominate a pass protection while also creating a lens in the learning of the game. Teams understand that championship are won in the trenches, and the draft is the best opportunity to strengthen those areas. Another major storyline is the rise of aggressive front offices willing to trade a massive draft capital in order to secure an elite talent. A franchise execution no longer wait patiently, hoping the preferred player falls to them. Instead, a team are moving up the board, sacrificing future picks and taking calculated risks to acquire a players they believe can become a superstar. This aggressive strategy has completely changed an atmosphere surrounding the draft night, turning into one of the most unpredictable events in the sport or in the National Football League. The importance of the player development has also become a critical for every franchise. Drafting a talent is is only part of the equation. Organization also must create a winning environment where a young player can grow into a star, and coaching staff and offensive system also, the defensive schemes, locker room culture, and the leadership all play massive roles in determining whether a prospect reaches his full potential. Some franchises consistently maximize a talent because of the strong development system, while others continue struggling despite draft highly talented players. One of the most fascinating aspects of today's NFL is how quickly a youngster are expected to produce. So the fans and analysts no longer give a rookie multiple years to adjust. First round picks are expected to contribute an immediate, especially a quarterbacks, a wide receiver and pass rusher. The pressure pressed on these young athletes is enormous, but the league's fast-paced environment demand instantly impact a franchise's investing millions of the dollar into young players, expect them to become foundational pieces right away. The draft has also become a deeply connected to franchise identity, so some teams prioritize physicality and defensive dominance, while others focus on speed, explosiveness, and offensive firepower. And every organization approaches a roster building differently, but the ultimate goal remains the same: constructing a, a championship caliber teams capable of competing for a Super Bowl. The fans across the NFL are already dreaming about what their franchise could become over the new few seasons. Hope is what makes the NFL draft so powerful, and every fan base believes the next superstar could already be on their roster. Every selection brings excitement, optimism, and renewed belief that a brighter future is coming. For rebuilding franchises, the draft represents a survival. For a playoff contender, it represents the final missing pieces needed to compete for a championships. For a struggling organization, it represents redemption and fresh beginning, and for a powerhouse teams already near the top of the league. So it represents an opportunity to stay dominant while the rest of the NFL tries to separate to catch up. The modern NFL is evolving faster than ever before. Offenses are becoming more explosive, defenses more versatile, and franchise more aggressive in pursuing inherent talent in the NFL. The draft sits at the center of all of it. It is where a future are created, career begin, and championship dreams are born. As the next NFL era begins to take a shape, franchise across the league know there it is no room for mistake anymore. But one elite draft class can change everything. So one superstar quarterback can revive an entire city. One defensive playmaker can redefine a championship defenses. The stakes have never been higher, and that is exactly why the NFL draft continues to captivate a millions of the fans every single year. On the end, the franchise that scored better, develop talent smarter, and build a strong cultures is every year without seeing a deep playoff success. One of the biggest stories surrounding the Dallas lineup is the complete rebuild and transformation of the defense during the previous season. The Cowboys struggled badly at the times on defense, especially against the run and the late game situation where they failed to stop opposing offenses during a critical drives. Those defensive struggles become one of the most biggest reasons for the Cowboys' failure to compete consistently against a narrowed team. So because of those problems, the Dallas made a several major coaching adjustments and brought in new defensive minds to reshape the identity of the team. So the coaches inside the organization reportedly want the Cowboys defense to become a faster, more aggressive, and more physically and far more unpredictable. The franchise believes that if the defense improves significantly, the entire team can once again become a faster and more aggressive and more physical, softer and predictable. The center of that defensive rebuild continues to be Amika Person, who remains the emotional leader and superstar of the Cowboys defense. Parsons is still considered one of the most dangerous defensive players in the football because of his explosiveness, speed, versatility, and the ability to completely change the games within a few plays. There are ongoing discussions about a massive new contract extension that could make him one of the highest paid defensive players in the entire NFL history. Cowboys fans view a Parsons as the face of the franchise and believe the future of the defense will evolve around him for many years. So for another huge source of excitement for the Dallas fans, it comes during 2026 NFL Draft. Many analysts around the league praised the Cowboys for having one of the smartest and balanced drafts in the NFL, so their first major selection was a Caleb Down, a highly talented safety whom many experts believed was one of the best defensive players available in the entire of NFL draft this year of 2026 class. Downs has already impressed coaches with his football intelligence, athleticism, awareness, tackling ability, and leadership qualities despite being a rookie. Inside the organization led by the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, there is a growing belief that he could immediately become one of the most impactful young players on the defense. So the Cowboys also selected Malachi Lawrence, an explosive edge rusher with innate speed and pass rushing ability. The Dallas believes that Lawrence can become a major weapon alongside Amika Parsons, creating one of the fastest and most dangerous pass rushing combinations in the NFL. So the coaches are reportedly extremely excited about his athleticism and his potential to create a pressure against opposing quarterbacks. Another rookie generating attention is Devin Moore, a talented cornerback who brings a strong athletic ability and versatility to the secondary. The Dallas struggled with injuries and inconsistency in the defensive backfield over the last few seasons, so the organization hopes Amor can help to stabilize that area. Everton was also added to strengthen the defensive line and improve the Cowboys' physical presence in the trenches. On the offensive side of the ball, all eyes remain focused on Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott continues to be one of the most debated quarterbacks in the football, so some fans strongly believe he is capable of leading the Cowboys deep into the playoff if he has the right support around him. While the other continue to question whether he can truly deliver in the biggest moment. Regardless of the criticism, the Cowboys organization still has confidence in the Dak Prescott and is working hard to surround him with a more offensive weapon than ever before. CeeDee Lamb remained the biggest star on offense and continued to establish himself as one of the top wide receiver in the entire of NFL team. And in the last season, CeeDee Lamb carried a huge portion of the offense and consistently made a game-changing plays. His chemistry with Dak Prescott continued to improve, and many analysts believe he could have another monster season in 2026. The Cowboys have also continued strengthening their receiving corps by adding a more depth and versatility around Lamb. George Pickens is the one of the player creating a major excitement because of his incredible athletics, talent, and ability to make spectacular catches. Many people around the league believe Pickens could become one of the breakout stars of the upcoming season if he performs consistently in the Dallas Cowboys. The running game is another important focus on the Dallas Cowboys entering a new season. Dallas believes Javonte Williams can help to bring a physicality and a balance back to the offense. So our coaches reportedly want more balanced offensive system that does not force Dak Prescott to carry the entire offense alone every week. So a Javonte Williams' ability to break tackles and gain a 12 yards could become extremely important in critical situations. Another major priority this offseason has been rebuilding the offensive line. Historically, the Cowboys have been known for having some of the best offensive lines in the football, but injuries, aging players, and inconsistency weakened that unity over the last few years. The organization is now working aggressively to rebuild a strong offensive front capable of protecting a Dak Prescott and improving the running game. Many insiders believe that if the offensive line performs well, the entire offense could become one of the most dangerous units in the NFL. So Dallas has also remained in active free agencies, continuing to explore veteran additions who could bring a leadership and experience into a locker room. Reports suggest the Cowboys are still monitoring several experienced players who may become available before the season begins. The organization appears determined to add a depth and veteran presence in a key position to strengthen the roster for a potential playoff run. A special team remains another area of the strength for the Cowboys, especially because of Brandon Aubrey, who has become one of the most reliable kickers in the NFL. So Brandon Aubrey played a huge role in several Cowboys victories last season. And thanks to his consistency and long range accuracy, so many fans were extremely happy when the Dallas decided to secure his future with the franchise. And one of the most encouraging development for the Dallas during off-season workout has been the early performance of the rookie class. A report from inside of the organization indicated that the Caleb Downs has already impressed the coaches with how quickly he learned a defensive system, while a Malachi Lawrence has reportedly displayed explosive athleticism during training sessions. So those early impressions has increased optimism among the fans who believe this rookie class could immediately contribute during 2026 season. Despite all the excitement, there is still enormous pressure surrounding the Cowboys organization. The head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, remains under intense scrutiny because fans expect a really post-season success, not just a regular season win. Many supporters believe the 2026 season could become one of the most important seasons in the recent franchise history because it may determine whether this new direction truly works. Across sport media and social platforms, debates continue about whether the Dallas finally has the right combination of the talent, coaching, leadership, and chemistry to compete for a Super Bowl championship. Some analysts believe the Cowboys now possess enough young defensive talent and offensive firepower to become a serious contender in the NFL, while others remain skeptical, arguing that Dallas must finally prove itself in high-pressure playoff situations before anyone can full trust them again. So, still, hope is growing rapidly among the Cowboys fans between the impressive draft classes, the rebuilding of the defense, and the offensive improvement around the Dak Prescott, and the energy surrounding the franchise. Many